Hi, everybody. This is a quick video I'm putting together to basically walk people through this investment opportunity so that they're better able to understand both the financial model and the project itself. So when you get to this page, you can obviously click on the video walkthrough, which you're watching right now, which you might have already received this sheet and that's how you got there, or maybe you found the video a different way. But what you would end up doing is coming to this financial model page. And then I'd first encourage you to check out the images and floor plans. You can do that by clicking here. I'm just going to walk you through that really quick. So I recommend that you look at the site plan first. It shows you a map here. The map shows you kind of in Los Cabos. Obviously, this project is in Los Cabos, Mexico, and it's on the East Cape. And this is where Flora Farms is, and this is where Casablanca by Coveted is, and this is where the boutique hotel and restaurant are located. Okay, it's about a 15 to 20 minute drive from the iconic Flora Farms in Los Cabos, which we helped bring to realization. Okay, when you come down here, it shows the layout of the property. Okay, this is a spa amenity. There will be cold plunges, sauna, hot tub, yoga area, and workout area. We'll be back in this area. Okay, though that area, access to the guests at the 5-room hotel, they get access to the spa area. Plus, it's a 2-minute walk, if that, down to the beach. This beach is a super secluded beach. There's never anybody there. So our boutique restaurant, we will operate an area there. So like we'll have beach chairs there, umbrellas there, and things like that. So our hotel guests can access that property. Behind the property, like literally adjacent to the boutique hotel and the restaurant, is a fractional project that we're developing. There's 4 condos there. That part of it is outside of this investment opportunity. The investment opportunity is just for the hotel and restaurant, which is in this area right here. But what's important, and the reason I'm bringing it up, is the guests and the people that will be staying on site will all be customers of this restaurant, which I'll further explain to you when I get into the financial modeling. But I just wanted to walk you through the property itself, right? That's why that PDF is in that folder. Now, when you get into that folder, there's also, let's see here. This is a site plan. This is a floor plan. So this shows you more like in detail the hotel and restaurant more specifically. There will be restaurant seating here. So what isn't really shown here is the property sits on an incline. I'm exaggerating it, but there would basically be a hotel here, and then the seating area for the restaurant would be down here. So when people are at the pool, for example, like this level of pool seating is overlooking this level of pool seating. And then this whole level with the pools and the seating here, they're above the height of the seating that's here on this part of the hill. So this will be like where people can seat. People that are in the hotel can also order food and eat here. There's an eating area on an outside terrace of each hotel room. There's just a queen bed in each of the 5 rooms. There's a closet here, a sink, a shower, a toilet. It's real simple, but it's really nice. It's because it's modern, and the location of being on the East Cape and then being just a 2-minute walk to the beach is very cool. So this breaks that down, right? Now let's go back here. And then you can also look through images here. These are renderings. Part of the property is already built. So we're already constructing this building back here. So the lower level back there is already done. The hotel is not, but this is what the hotel will look like. You can see these are the patio areas that I was referring to. These are each of the 5 rooms. This is the seating, so on and so forth. This would be a view like looking out at the ocean. Just to give you, an idea of like, what's this thing going to look like? What's it going to feel like? This is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to feel like. It already is looking and feeling like that in the fractional portion. And this is a hotel portion, right? A hotel and restaurant portion. But yeah, that gives you an idea. Here is, if you're sitting on that area, this would kind of be the view there. So that's that folder, right? So now let's go back to the financial model itself. These numbers are super conservative. Okay, and I'm going to show you how the financial works so you kind of understand it. So year one, we're projecting, this is PAX. This is the amount of people at the property, potentially. This would be the amount of people in the hotel, and this would be the approximate people per year on the adjacent property in which could be utilizing the restaurant. And I think those numbers are really important to understand because we can control those numbers. Now, outside of these numbers, there's also other people that might be able to access the restaurant if we can even if we even have the ability to service that many people. I don't think we really will. I think we'll max out. This is a boutique hotel and also a boutique restaurant. The primary purpose of the restaurant is to service, number one, the hotel guests. Number two would be to service our adjacent neighbors in the fractional properties, right? That's the main goal. And with that, by servicing all those people, the restaurant will probably be maxed out, which is fine. But if it's not, if we have the ability to take on more customers, we do have neighbors around the area and people like driving by it that are, on the way to Nine Palms or going up to Cabo Polmo or whatever. There's a lot of people just out in that area exploring and enjoying the East Cape, right? So if we wanted to, we could open our doors to the public. Right now, we might want to stick to being more of a private restaurant, right? So we'll navigate that path as we go. But it's important to understand why these numbers are put here. I just want to give you an idea of the approximate amount of people on site, basically, right? And I want you to have that idea. Now, here's the hotel revenue. Oh, let me explain how we get these numbers. So what I'm doing is I'm taking year one, the approximate nights that we're going to rent. So we're likely going to rent 183 nights. Again, I think that's super conservative in year one, but whatever, let's be conservative because I would rather underpromise and overdeliver than to do it in reverse, right? I think that we can definitely accomplish 183 nights rented within these 5 rooms at a nightly rate of $200, which again, I think that even that's conservative. I think we could rent it for more than that, but let's be conservative. So if we do that math there, it ends up being this amount. Now, what's important about that is 183 nights rented. The majority of those rental rates or renters will be couples. The room is very couple centric. You're going to have single people every once in a while, but if we take this amount of rented nights and we multiply it by 2, that's how we're getting 365. You can see 183 times 2. That's how we're getting 365 people, not days, right? People at the property in that particular year. Okay. Year 2, it ramps up a little bit, right? It goes to 219 nights rented, so on and so forth. We end up, I cap it at only a 75% occupancy rate, which is really low. We operate properties in Los Cabos right now that have a 95% occupancy. So we know that we can get it up higher. But again, I just want to be conservative here in this projection for our investors, right? But imagine if we did 300 nights, right? Look at the difference in revenue, right? Compared to, whoops, sorry. I changed the rate. Sorry. If I change this to 300 nights, look at what a difference it makes, right? Compared to 274. So 274 is a 291K. If we get that up to 300 nights, it turns to 319K. If we get it to 350 nights, which again sounds crazy, but it's actually really possible in Cabo, well, that brings our revenue to here. But let's just be conservative, okay? I like to be that way because it's better to look at numbers in a conservative fashion. Now, keep in mind, this property is owned, so our net revenue is higher because we're not paying rents and things like that. We're not a hotel group that's renting, a property and then we're gonna, operate our hotel at that property and we have this huge rent to pay. The property is owned outright. So the Coveted Group handled that acquisition. Our investors are putting up the money to build the hotel, right? So we're going to build the hotel on the property that's already owned. That makes our net revenues a lot stronger than if we had, a lot of higher, other expenses to add in there. Okay. Now, let's get into, so I think you kind of understand how this math works, right? We're going to scale the amounts of nights rented. We're going to scale the amount of money that we're going to charge for our hotel rentals. Some people will say $402. I don't know, for just a small room like that. Yeah, but 6 years from now. So I think it'll be even higher than that, especially based on inflation, right? But that's okay. Again, just let's be conservative, right? These are our gross revenues. These are our net revenues. Okay. Now, when we get into the restaurant, you can see this is super conservative. This is based on if in year one, if we do just 20 people a day, 20 people a day, like that's crazy, right? I mean, we can definitely do 20 people a day just from neighbors, people driving by and all that stuff, not even including the hotel guests. But let's say that we throw hotel guests in there too, or vice versa. Of course, we're going to do more than 20 people. But again, for the sake of being conservative in terms of financial modeling, I'm going to scale that number down. Okay. So that gives me an annual amount of people at 20 people, because we're going to be open 365 days a year, unless maybe there's bad weather or something like that. But that's our plan. $30 a person, I think, is also really conservative. That brings our gross revenue to $219,000, right? Brings our net revenue to $65,700. And the reason for that is our net is going to be around 30%. Now, we'll have a liquor license there, and we will, increase our revenue once we have our liquor license and so on and so forth. But again, I'm just being conservative here. Okay. So, I own and operate Outpost in Cabo San Lucas. It's a tiny restaurant. So our restaurant in Cabo San Lucas is very small. It only seats 30 people. It's very, very tiny. And we do way higher numbers than these numbers. But again, I'm just being really conservative. And our net rev is more than 30% because we have a really amazing cocktail and liquor program there, alcohol program there, right? So these numbers could potentially be bigger, but again, I just want to be really conservative, right? So this shows that, right? So that's how I'm getting to all these numbers. Okay. Now this shows again what we need. So we're looking for 600,000. Someone can come in and invest any amount that they want. Really above 50,000 would be kind of the lowest level I'd like to go down to. I'm really trying to find people that can invest 100,000 or more, or if somebody wants to come in with a full 600,000, that's great too. So let's envision it, if you will, that someone invested the full 600,000, just for the sake of me explaining it, right? If somebody came in and they were the full investor of that $600,000, there is an accelerated payback situation set up in this investment. So the equity position in total ends up being 25%. So if someone invests 600,000, they are a 25% equity partner, okay, of the business, right? But they're going to get their money back faster than just 25% of net. So we're going to actually pay our investor back or the investors of that 600,000, they're going to get paid back through 60% of the net revenue on a quarterly basis until the full initial investment is returned. Once it's returned, they dropped down to 25%. Okay, there is an alternative option, which I'll show you in a second, but this is a primary, based on how normal business works, this is how things work, right? Usually there's an accelerated payback to an investor. Not always, but usually there is. And then they would drop back down to their equity position. So they would, once they receive their money back, they're making 25% on a quarterly basis forever, right? For as long as they remain a partner. Maybe we buy them out somewhere down the road. Maybe that's what they want to do, or maybe they want to sell their portion to somebody else. Whatever. That's all possible too. So let's jump down here. So what this does is this shows timelines on when the investor can expect to be paid back. So this is based obviously on these numbers up here. And so it's showing that if they were to get paid 60 back in net, they should be paid back by year 4 based on our projections. Okay. Now they're getting paid back every quarter starting on year one. Every quarter they make money. So they make this amount, right? Then they make this amount because they're getting 60% of this net amount. So this is projected net of year one. This is a projected payback. This is a projected net of year two. This is a projected payback, so on and so forth. So by the time they get down to here in year four, that's their payback year. So they've made their full 600K back here, plus they made 69,000 towards their ROI, right? Which is their 25%, right? Their equity position, if you will. So that just keeps repeating, right? Obviously, because they paid back, now their fallback is 25%, and they keep getting that back, right? This is a legacy investment. So it sticks with them for as long as they're a partner, right? By year 8, they will have doubled their money. And then, they keep making money, keep making money, keep making money. So this shows the cumulative ROI. This shows the total ROI of each year. This shows the cumulative of it. So like an investor invested 600,000. By year 15, they made 2.7 million, right? Which is nice. This shows annual total ROI. So if we're getting paid back like this is what the investor would make each year. I mean, these are huge returns, right? And then this is a cumulative ROI, okay? So that's all there. Now, this shows the alternative equity return agreement. So if some investors are just different. Some investors think one way and other investors think a different way. So people that think a different way, like maybe there's an investor who doesn't want to get caught up in understanding net revenue and gross revenue. And maybe they don't like the way we run our operate our business, right? Even though we're really good at what we do, but maybe they're just like, why are you spending so much on labor? Or why are you buying premium fillets and when you could be buying them for like one for a better price, or I don't know, whatever, if somebody doesn't like that, getting involved in that discussion, which they don't have to, an investor does not have to be involved in that discussion, but some, maybe they do. They look at our net revenue and they're like, geez, why are you doing, you should be increasing that net revenue, or I would feel so much better if you had a higher net, because I'd be making more money, right? So some people don't want to get involved in that discussion. So they might want to just do this way, which they can get 15% of gross revenue on a quarterly basis. So 15% of gross revenue until they're paid back. Once they're paid back, they would get 5%. They would drop down to 5% of gross, every year, right? On a quarterly basis, right? They can do that way. Now, if they do it that way, there's still a 25% equity owner. So if if we sold the property or something like that, they would still make 25% on that sale, right? So that they still are a 25% equity owner. It's just the way that they are paid back and they make the returns are based off of gross revenue instead. Now, this is understanding pro rata, just for people that don't understand pro rata, right? So if somebody doesn't put up the full 600 or the full 600K, say they put up just $50,000. Well, if they put up $50,000 towards a $600,000 raise, their equity position would be 8.3% of the payback and of the equity. Okay, to give you an idea, right? So it's whatever amount of money somebody invests towards this project, it's pro rata towards the $600,000 that we're raising, right? So that explains the project. I hope my walkthrough helps. If it doesn't, my number is right here. You can WhatsApp chat me or just send me a regular text, whatever. Call me. I'm happy to jump on a phone call with you, walk you through other parts of it if that's what you're interested in, or if you're interested in just learning more about the overall project. Just hit me up. I love talking to people. I love what we do. So it's never a bother if you write me or call me. All right. And that's everything. Let me know. Cheers.